Hello and welcome back to Blackwatch Intel. My name is Crashy, and today, per the usual, I'm going to be doing my Overwatch League predictions. Now, this is going to be Stage 1, Week 4, and this is where things have started to pull a little bit. The teams are kind of defining whereabouts they are, at least, for now, in this stage. So some of these games are hard to call, I think some of them are pretty clear, but they're actually hard to call. As were last week, although there were a couple of huge upsets, mainly being, every Korean team now has a loss, or every full Korean team now has a loss. So that's definitely unexpected. So, I haven't been that on with my predictions, but I do love to share my thoughts and talk about them. So that's what we're going to do. So we have game number 1 is going to be the LA Valiant going against the Philadelphia Fusion. This one is going to be a banger of a game because I think the Fusion have the potential to really put up a good fight against the Valiant, but I just think with where they are right now, how strong they've been looking overall in so far through Stage 1, I do think that the Valiant are going to take this one. I'm going to go ahead and give it to them 3-1. Next, we have the Florida Mayhem facing off against the Los Angeles Gladiators. Unfortunately, no change here. I think the Gladiators are going to stomp this one. I'm going to give it to them 4-0, honestly. Next, we have the Houston Outlaws going up against the San Francisco Shock. The Shock, not much life in them. They've, really not been doing that well. And while I do think they really have a nice roster and a team that can contend and play at a very high level, I do think the Outlaws will take this one, but I'm going to give it to the Outlaws 3-1. Let's say Shock can take them out. So going into day 2, we have the Philly Fusion again facing up against the Dallas Fuel, and I do think that the Dallas Fuel will start to improve here, and I think this is where we may see that kind of like envious roster starting to come together and getting some synergy and just becoming a better team overall, but I do think the Fusion will take this one, and kind of in a similar fashion, I think they're going to take it 3-1 over the Dallas Fuel. NYXL going against the Shanghai Dragons, nothing to be expected here, 4-0 for the New York Excelsior. Now, the next game, again, Korean face-off, we have the London Spitfire facing off against the Seoul Dynasty. London Spitfire, an incredible team, top 3 team, hands down, no question, but I think the Seoul Dynasty are going to take it. I'm going to call this one close because I do think it could be close. I'm going to say 3-2 for the Seoul Dynasty. Day number 3, we have the SF Shock going against the Florida Mayhem. I do think the Shock is the superior team. I think the Florida Mayhem are kind of tied for the worst team in the league next to the Shanghai Dragons. So I'm going to go ahead and say a 3-1 victory for the Shock because I do think the Florida Mayhem can contest with one of the, lower tier teams in the Shock. So we'll see. Seoul Dynasty, huge game against the Houston Outlaws. This one is crazy. This is Rouge Hong giving props to Jake and the Houston Outlaws, and the Houston Outlaws coming out strong. At this point, they'll have won, 5 games in a row, and I think they're going to be going, this will be the second game for the week for them, going against, one of the best teams in the entire league. I do think, overall, that the Seoul Dynasty are going to take this one, but it would not surprise me if it's a Game 5 scenario, so I'm going to give it to the Seoul Dynasty 3-2. I hope I'm wrong. I want my boys in Houston to win, so obviously that's the team that I root for. Next, we have the LA Gladiators going against the Boston Uprising. I do think that the Boston Uprising are just climbing the tiers. I think the Gladiators have a lot of potential to win this one, but I don't know. I see something in the Boston Uprising now. The more and more I watch them, the more they prove to me that they're going to be an insanely strong team. I'm going to give it to Boston Uprising 3-2 over the LA Gladiators. I think that set is going to be an insane one to watch as well. Again, we have the Shanghai Dragons going against the London Spitfire. I just don't see anything here. I think the Spitfire are going to take this one in a dominating fashion, 4-0 for the London Spitfire. Dallas Fuel facing off against the other Titan, the NYXL, and I think the NYXL will take this one over the Fuel. I'm going to give it to them 3-1 over the Dallas Fuel. And the last game of the week, we have the Boston Uprising facing off against the LA Valiant. This one's hard to call. I am going to go ahead and play it safe and go with the LA Valiant on this one. I'm going to say 3-1, but I want to say that the Boston Uprising have a lot of potential to win this one. I wouldn't be surprised if they upset my prediction and do win it. And ultimately, that's going to be a very important matchup to kind of see where the rankings are falling. How good are the Boston Uprising? How dominant are the Valiant? So some important questions to ask here. So those are my predictions. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What am I wrong about? What am I right about? Do the Houston Outlaws have a chance to take Seoul Dynasty? That's going to be my game of the week. That's what I'm looking forward to. So Hope you enjoyed this type of content. I actually really love talking about Overwatch League. I still want to jump in and do some analysis. I just haven't quite found my formula for that, so stay tuned. So thanks again for checking out this video. I appreciate it. Again, please do not leave without leaving a like, and I'll see you on the next video.